Well, by the grace of God, we're back to God's Way, YTVY. I'm Adolphina Shephard. This is my co-host, Thomas Knights Templar.
How you doing, everyone? Welcome to our show. It's good to be back.
Sure is. Boy, did I miss doing the show.
So did I. I forgot what your name was.
I know. I haven't seen you in so long.
I know. It's been at least a 7-month hiatus.
I know. Well, thank God they've been running the reruns, but still, there's nothing like a fresh, up-to-date show.
True.
Well, folks, we're going to be talking about the year in retrospect and covering things from a intuitive point of view on what's been happening this past year so far. But first, before we do that, I've been told to report on the energies. So I want to talk about what's been happening this month because it's been bam slam. Let's see, where shall I start? Let's see.
The lunar energies.
Huh?
All the lunar energies that we've been having.
Oh, yeah. And, 9/1 was a moon. So there we start right there, September 1st, right? Mm-hmm. So we had the energies ripping and rolling. September 6th, I was told by God to take it easy for 2 weeks, rest as much as possible, because there were going to be major shifts. And I was
the major shift is coming because next month you have 2 full moons. You have a harvest moon and a blue moon.
Well, we have two moons this month too, but so it started for me on Labor Day. I'm so glad that my plans changed from Monday to Sunday because Monday I was like, I can't eat anything. I was having gastro distress and everything from the energies. And so right away I said, okay, here we go. This shift is starting now, big time, right? I don't know if you felt it.
I handle it a little better, I think.
Well, most people do because I'm so sensitive. But and then we had there were 3 stargates open. That was the first one on 9/7. It may have been no, it actually was to open 9/9. But the thing was, it opened a few days early as usual.
But as the energy is coming in, we're sensitive to it. If it's supposed to come in 9/9, it comes in 9/9. But we start feeling it 9/7, 9/6.
Yeah.
And how many times after the moon is over, the full moon's over, you're into the next month, we still feel that energy.
You're still feeling that because you're sensitive, yeah. And and then the next one was 9/9. We had Mars go retrograde. Now Mars is the planet of war, right? So no wonder things are a bit chaotic.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think.
Just a little?
I think it's a little chaotic.
Wow.
we have to stay calm and in our center.
You should say. When did so many people get so crazy so fast?
I know. Well, you know what? I remember being told a long time ago that when the energies really started rocking and rolling with the ascension process from the precession of the equinox, because people have to understand
they can't take that energy if they're not on the ascension course.
I know. Well, but
it drives them crazy.
Yeah, but let's look at the percentage of people that are on the ascension path. There's probably 80%.
It's very true. People are looking for a spiritual answer, and all of this stuff locking us down in our homes and all this nonsense, all that managed to do was to make the family stronger.
Yeah, see, because you know what? God turned that around to his advantage, right? First of all, the corporations have gotten so greedy, cutting back people so that one person had to do the work of 3 people, and now they're working 50, 60, 70 hours a week. Not seeing their kids because they both have to work to support the family, right?
If they're even going in.
Yeah.
If they're even going in. A lot of people have been home 6, 7 months.
No,
8 months.
I'm talking about previously.
Yes.
It was time to get off the gerbil wheel.
Well, that's right.
It was time to get off the gerbil wheel. And also people...
The merry-go-round, I'd like to look at it that way.
Well, I mean, hey, I remember Father God telling me it was... Do you like being on the gerbil wheel?
Like little lab rats going around on the thing.
Yeah, with never a moment to even think straight, because they were so exhausted working those kind of hours.
Well, my wife would come home from work. She'd bring the job home with her. Okay, so now that she's home, she's in comfortable surroundings.
Yeah.
She still does hectic things because she's very busy. But I like having her home because it kind of balances out the household. She's not going out there. And she's working in the city, and the city's crazy right now. These bands of people running around assaulting people and getting away with it. The minute they walk into jail, they walk right out.
That's insanity, isn't it?
But this was all by design.
Oh,
It's
I
all
know.
by design.
I know it was done by design, and people are being paid to create this havoc. That's what most
right.
of the public doesn't understand.
That's right.
These
These are-
protesters who are breaking things, robbing things, setting things on fire, toppling the statutes, they're being paid to do that, folks. Don't buy into this stuff.
That's true.
You know?
Certainly are. They certainly are.
And you know what? I want to go a little further because I got a few notes here.
About the forest fires?
No,
that
no.
they're deliberately set?
Oh, yeah. Well, that has to go, you know, and we call on,
We call on God to stop them from destroying nature.
Right.
And all those animals that are dying at the hands of arsonists.
Yeah, and particularly being done deliberately. These people have no souls.
No.
But, you know, one of the other things I wanted to say is, you know, I don't know if you know it, but the school system was modeled after the prison system. So
It certainly looks that way.
So, you know, there we go. God's hand in there saying, you know what? Time to break that mold, you know. Our children are to be trained in a prison system.
When you see the things that are going on in elementary schools at the moment, starting at the elementary level, you know, they want to create this false narrative of kumbaya. Let the children grow up to be who they are. They'll intermingle with other children of all different races, and they will find their way. Without hatred, without saying you have to like this or you have to like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Let the children learn to make their own choices for themselves when it comes to who they want to be friends with or who they don't want to be friends with.
Well,
You know, but the problem is that this has been browbeated into their heads, you know?
Yeah.
And now they're putting little stickers, you must support this, you gotta like this one has this one has that. You know, it's like anything goes now. The worst things you could possibly think of. I'm looking at New York and California, Sodom and Gomorrah. That's what it is.
right.
Because they're the only two spots, the West Coast up into Washington State, and New York up into the other states that go up above it, Vermont and all of that, right, as being these centers of just chaos and debauchery.
I know, but you know what? And that's got to stop. I mean, and this defund the police, don't you think that's just nonsense? I mean, what, do we want to go into anarchy and chaos?
Yeah.
I mean, come
somebody
on.
robs your house, call a social worker.
Yeah, call the people who were who were saying that. Yeah. Who are you going to call if your house is robbed or the crowd or the mob turns on you? Right?
And the best is, look at these politicians. They have scores of police officers protecting them.
Right.
Meanwhile, they're trying to defund them.
Right.
If I was those cops, I'd turn my back on them. Anybody wants to take them out, go right ahead.
But we were talking about how, like you were saying, how the families become stronger.
Yes.
And it gave people a chance to reconnect because people
Listen,
were barely spending any
families
time
are
together.
sharing meals again.
Yeah.
All right? They're sharing meals again.
Yeah.
All right? Listen, they thought that they were going to do this. What they managed to do was take your civil liberties, your rights as a human being in this country, and take them away from you.
Yeah, and that...
Using fear that's going through the media, okay? You ever notice that out of a 30-minute broadcast or an hour broadcast, it's 45 minutes of nothing but horror stories.
You know what it is? It's psychological warfare.
It is.
It's psychological warfare, and we cannot abide that.
No.
And I am so thrilled that I just found out yesterday that the state of Pennsylvania has a rule that it is unconstitutional to shut down the businesses.
That's right.
And there are people in my own neighborhood that have been saying this and have been fighting, saying it's unconstitutional.
Well, there's restaurants that got together and it's suing the governor and the mayor.
And they need to, because, we need to get off our knees, as Davis Icke is so famous for saying.
It's like this. When you are the governor of a state, when you are a mayor of a great city like New York, and you do not protect the public interest, we are all the public, but they only are allowing a certain little bunch to do all this chaos.
I know, it's ridiculous.
Without consequence.
Yeah.
Without consequence.
Right.
But if a police officer in the thing of an arrest should be a little rough, oh, forget about it, what it is. We want him fired. No, That is wrong.
That's their job.
That is their job.
To maintain
and
order.
that is wrong. And where is a crime going crazy? All right, in all those neighborhoods. Going crazy off the charts.
I know.
Okay, why? Because they know they're not going to get arrested.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely. Now, who is keeping the people from being arrested? Who is doing that?
That's the law. The governor and the mayor, they made this law. Right, for bail reforms, no more cash bail. When you had a cash bail system, people had to come up with 1/3 or whatever it was of the amount. Say it was $10,000. They had to come up with like $2,000, $2,500.
Yeah.
Okay, as a bond.
Yeah.
If they didn't show up to court, they lose the bond. Or whoever put
Well,
up the
this
money.
has got to go back to the old way because that's an
It's got to.
absurdity.
It's got to. Listen, these people that are in these states where this stuff is happening
Keep talking.
need to be addressed. What are you doing?
I'm going to tell him to keep it on
What?
both. Tell him to keep it on both of us.
Yeah. All right.
Keep talking.
All right.
There we go. Okay. So, anyway, let's move on with the dates because there's something really important on an intuitive basis. The 13th, this past week, was literally when Jupiter turned direct, and that is.
Yeah, Jupiter's a big deal now.
This is the official date of the solar Christ test. That is big. That's big.
Well,
That's
Jupiter
big.
is my governing planet. Okay, so Jupiter going direct makes things really good for me.
And it's, it's the biggest planet, and it went into Virgo, which is why it became the official date of the solar Christ test. And this is all again the process to deal with the precession of the equinox when we're at another cycle after I think it's 4.5 million years. Every 26,000 years, things shift and they change. And what this whole thing that we've been talking about.
There's a purge.
It is a purge, but it's the shifting of one age to another, from Homo sapien to Homo luminous. That the Homo sapiens is the base level human.
That's right.
And so the ascending collective, which is 80% of the people who have chosen to ascend.
They've had adjusted DNA.
Well,
They've had extra strands added to them.
right.
And that's what that is.
Yeah, so, and the sun is bombarding us with these light, which is pushing a bunch of stuff out that needs to clear, that comes up for people to be aware of the institutions and people that they've put their faith in, that they realize now, we can't have faith in that. They've been deceiving us all along.
Well, people are waking up.
People are waking up.
They're seeing it. They're seeing it. Anybody who would stand for the chaos that's going on in the streets right now doesn't stand for what the country was founded on.
I know.
You know?
What are
God
we
and
going-
liberty. They took God out of everything.
What, are we going back to a third world country to allow this kind of thing to occur?
Well, this movement would be moving the country not to socialism, but to communism.
Yeah, can't
Okay?
allow it.
If everybody's going to be the same, you could tell that to the billionaires, okay, who would have to give up all their money. You think they're going to do that? Or they're going to be in another country living their life, all right, while they pull the strings in this one,
Right.
which is what they're doing. They're all hiding out because they know that they're onto them. What do you think is funding all of this stuff?
Oh, I know. And, this is, there was actually a video of, I've seen a bunch of videos of doctors debunking the pandemic.
And you know what happens to them?
What?
If they put them up on thing, the guy who owns Facebook?
Yeah, takes it down.
Yeah.
Or
And
they'll
then-
say
and
it's
then
false.
the best is this. I had them dead to rights with this thing that I had put up. And they put down, our fact checkers said that that's not true. Every single thing that I had over there was fact, out of the book.
Yeah.
Okay, was fact.
I know,
Okay?
just like that.
And they took it off because it doesn't fit their motif.
Oh, no, well, wait a minute. First of all, let's get to who are the independent fact checkers?
Well,
let's think
who are
about
they?
this.
Who are they?
Okay, who are they? Who are they?
They work for them.
Right, they're paid people to deceive the public.
That's right.
And not tell the truth. Like I put up a video of a spaceship that was captured in New Jersey. Oh, this is false information by independent fact checkers. Yes, sure, it was a Goodyear blimp. You know, I've seen
Yeah.
spaceships myself. So did my mother and my grandmother. I know that they exist. And so what are they going to say? It's balloons or it's a Goodyear blimp. Of course.
When it lands on the White House lawn, then maybe they're going to believe it.
No, they believe it. They know it's true.
They know
just
it's true.
don't want to let the people
this
know.
Has been going, how do you think that we went from tubular television that had tubes? They used to have to go to the drugstore to test them to see if they were bad, and then you bought another tube, and you went home and put it in your TV so your TV would work. Okay? Who do you think the technology went from that to transistors to fiber optics?
Yeah, I know.
You know, we're smart, but we're not that smart.
I know the answer. You know what the answer is?
Yeah,
when
they got the crash ships.
Yeah, when they had the crash ships, they reversed engineer them for their technology.
That's right.
Is how we move so fast, so far, people, or so far, so fast.
Listen, in the Bible, it also says, you know, in what's the list? Revelations. You know, you say to yourself, how could this information have gotten out so fast? When we took the world that used to be a giant world, and now we have instantaneous power in your hand, the world becomes a baseball. Everybody can talk to everybody at any time. All the information can get out instantaneously. So anybody puts out a false narrative, it's not only be believed here, but it's going to be believed everywhere. Because I know these people, well, if it's on the news, it's got to be true. Yeah? You think? Yeah. Start using your common sense. Common sense has been browbeated out of every single one of your young children going through the school system. They don't have common sense, all right? You take your children, you sign them up for baseball. Guess what? Everybody is equal. Everybody gets it. How about a kid is really good? He should be acknowledged for being the all-star. No, everybody's got to be the same, okay? That's where we started to develop appeasement, okay? That we appease everybody, because you got too politically correct now. I mean, the shows that we used to watch in the 70s, All in the Family, Sanford and Son, any of those shows, they would be considered horrible now. And why? They were the funniest thing because it was about real life. Okay? About real life. But today, everybody's got a real thin skin. Real thin skin. All right? It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Grow a thicker skin, for crying out loud. Stop being a baby.
Well, you know, you're right, Tommy. You're right. People are such babies. And, you know, I'll tell you what, this country was founded on the principles of God. And
the Judeo-Christian system.
Yes, and I resent the fact that they're taking God out of everything.
Everything.
I mean, you can, can you say God bless you, for heaven's sakes, you know?
No, you can't say Merry Christmas. You got to say season's greetings.
Please, come on. Like, okay, here we go. Perfect thing. Okay, what's coming up next with the month is, well, first I skipped over the 17th, which is the new moon. But now, today is Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah.
We can say Rosh Hashanah, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, what would be the alternative? But, I mean, you can't say Merry Christmas. Come on.
It would be the Shabbat, so we would say Shabbat Shalom.
Well, that means peace.
Yeah,
or go in peace.
Yeah. But that's what you would say today on a Friday to any friends of yours that are Jewish or Jewish persuasion. You would just say that Shabbat Shalom. You wish them well and a good weekend and everything else.
Well, I know it's their New Year.
It's Shana Tova.
But it is actually 10 days of penitence. And I remember it like I see it in my mind. I mean, I am not Hebrew in this life, but I've been told I have a Jewish show. But
I've been told I have a Jewish heart.
Well, you know, for some reason, I can kind of feel like I'm supposed to go like this when I do something wrong,
well,
like the penitence,
the atonement. It's funny you're doing that because, you know, I've been doing as of late. I've been like this.
See, that goes back to when you were a Jewish person, a Jewish soul.
That's part of it. That's part of it. And I also feel a very big connection to them.
Well, you know, it's the atonement, and then right after that, let's see, it is on. You know what it is?
It's my guardian angel. My guardian angel is Archangel Zachiel.
Okay, well
and he was the archangel that stopped Abraham from sacrificing.
Okay, so he was there with all the Hebrews, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and then Yom Kippur comes up next, which is the Judgment Day or Day of Atonement.
Day of Atonement. Yes.
You know, it's funny. Years ago, I used to belong to this church before I was told to leave the church because my church was out here in the world with everybody. And I remember the pastor there. First, I remember walking into that church, and it was the first time I felt the Holy Spirit. And unfortunately, the pastor crossed over because I used to love going in to see him. But you know what? The only days he had communion in a Christian church was Christmas, Easter, Yom Kippur, and Rosh Hashanah. And seeing it was a Christian church, I thought it was funny, but he did.
It sounded more like a Messianic church.
Yeah.
Yeah, a Messianic church.
Well, he was great because he would channel. He would come out, and one day I saw him actually get taken up, and he just stood there, and everybody was wondering what was going on, you know. And so his headmistress, who ran the school, who was also a pastor, she jumped up on stage. Headmistress. Well,
is that for a lack of a better term?
Well, I mean, that's what the school, whatever they're called.
Headmistress?
You know. Well, okay, maybe
it sounds like a brothel.
You're right, Tom. You're right. Well, anyway, okay, whatever you want to call it, the principal. Okay. So, all right, let's say she was the principal of the school instead. And
all the blood is rushing into your face.
It's making me laugh because of what you said. Oh, Tommy. Anyway, she jumped up there, and she was going to cover for him. And she goes up. It was like her soul was taken up just like his. And then another pastor jumps up there who was in training, and he starts. Well, then the pastor came down, and he came down with a blessing for the people. Now, the people in the audience, that was really profound, and it was something because there were 10,000 people in that church, and there were only
one heck of a church. What was it, a football stadium?
It was huge, but that day there were only about 200 of us in there. And it was, I remember looking around thinking, you know, why is the church so empty today? Well, it was because we all received this special blessing. And then, of course, she came down, and the other pastors jumped off the stage. But it was profound, you know. You could actually feel the Holy Spirit in that church. But anyway, so that's my Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah story. And now, right, even as we move forward, we have now rolling right into it, right after Yom Kippur is September 28th, 29th, and the 30th.
That's my anniversary.
Oh, boy.
The 28th.
Well, guess what? That's going into the full moon on October 1st.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, why, you know, be careful.
40 years. 40 years is a very biblical number, 40.
Oh, because, boy, that's a long time.
40 days, Jesus was in the desert, all right? 40 years, the Jews wandered
oh, my goodness.
through the desert. 40 days of rain with Noah. 40 is a number in the Bible that's repetitive. There's many numbers, 3s, 7s. There's many numbers that are in the Bible that coincide with you know, your general life and stuff like that. So I look at it this way, 40 years for me. Thank you, God. I'll take it.
Well, you know what? I mean, hey, that means that when the 40 years is over, things got better.
Well,
Came out of the desert.
That's right.
Right? Went into the promised land. Mm-hmm. Hey, maybe you're going into the promised land.
That promised land better be in another state. And I don't mean a dead state. I mean another state. You know?
But anyway,
something perhaps with palm trees, it would be nice. You know,
right.
A little warmer. Good.
Right. So, no, I just wanted to say, did you have any other topic that you wanted to bring up in the past 2020, what we've been going through?
Listen, we've been on hiatus for 7 months, and it has been torture, and everybody have suffered along with us. It's not only because we weren't doing shows, but people were like disenfranchised, people lost their jobs, restaurants were destroyed, businesses are going out of business because they can't afford to pay the rents. Yes, they got some kind of relief from the city that you can't get thrown out of your apartments, but you got to remember that you're walking back in once everything normalizes again to tremendous debt. Who could pay 2 or 3, 4 months, 7 months back rent? You know? And the people who own those buildings still have to pay the electric, the gas, and everything else like that. And they lost a lot of money. A lot of rich people, really rich people who live in Manhattan, just bolted out of the city. They're either out in the Hamptons or in some other state. They got out of here because they see the handwriting on the wall. The city's becoming I always said years ago that New York one day will become the next Detroit.
Oh,
Because
wouldn't that be terrible?
it would be. I seen it coming, because I do get prophetic thoughts and prophetic dreams. And I see some pretty crazy stuff, but you got to remember one thing. Everything that could happen doesn't have to happen if we start to learn to listen to one another, not that you have your opinion, I have mine, and there's no leeway in between. That's the problem with our parties today. These guys have this guys have that, there's no middle ground. There's no middle ground, there's no meeting in the middle anymore. Okay? And they won't listen to reason, and what are you going to have? You're going to have anarchy. And that's bought and paid for. That's bought and paid for. If you think these people are out in the streets and they're not paid, then you're out of your mind. Then you're out of your mind
No,
if you think that.
this was all planned long ago.
Absolutely.
I mean, from the day something happened in every city, they had another protest, another march. I mean, come on, this takes years of planning. And
Where was the march for the little boy in Florida? The guy walked right up to him and shot him in the head in front of his parents. Where was the marches for that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, where was the marches for that?
No, because
Where was the marches for all these kids in all these neighborhoods that are getting shot by the gunfire that's meant to shoot some other drug dealer? Okay, where is the justice?
Oh, I know. Well, you know
Okay.
what? See, they're trying to create chaos.
They're trying to
and to have the racist fighting so that if the New World Order can't win in one way, they're trying another way because
That's right.
they wanted to take down the middle class. And the lower class, so they have complete control.
Well, the whole thing with them is that they say never let a good crisis go to waste.
Yeah.
All right, because they take advantage of that, and they're pumping fear. Fear is what they're pumping.
Oh, yeah.
All right, and that's what it is. You know what fear is, people? You better learn this, what I'm going to say right now. Fear is inverted faith. Because if you think you're a Christian and you think that this is okay, you're on the wrong side of the line. All right? You're on the wrong side of the line. Your parents and their parents came to this country, just like every other immigrant group that came here, and worked hard and made a life for themselves. Okay? Fear is inverted faith. Do you hear that?
And it's
inverted
also
faith.
It's also false evidence appearing real.
That's right.
Now, I want to give you some tips to try to stay balanced and centered because we have got to come together as a people and get off our knees and stop this stuff going around.
That's right.
That is obviously paid to disrupt all the American lives. And one of the things that I believe is it's done intentionally because they want to be able to blame all of this on the president so that he doesn't win because the New World Order knows it's the end of the line for...
They know their time. Their 10,000 years are up.
Yeah, their 10,000 years are up, and they like the power and the money, and they want to keep it to themselves. They don't want to go back to the original plan that was originally planned with God, that God would give them this money, give them the technology, and then they would lead the way for everyone.
But remember one thing.
What?
God created man and woman. Man and woman created divisions. There has never been a division. God didn't see any groups. He saw his children.
Right.
Okay? And if you see anything else, okay, then you're part of the problem. You're part of the division in this world, the division in this country. All right? That's the problem. All right? You don't come from a position of love. He's talking love. What's love? I can't love him. I can't love them. They killed these kids. They did this. They're pedophiles and stuff like that. You don't have to love the crime. You don't have to love what they do. But you have to love the person. Okay? Because God's prime directive is love others as God, your Father, loves you.
That's right. And for those who are the perpetrators of these crimes against humanity...
Are Satanists. They work for the other side. That's what they are.
Well, here's the thing. Let me just say this. It's not too late You can still be forgiven by God because, it's not too late. That's why they're fighting so hard, because they know.
It's the last hurrah.
Yeah, they know that what's going to happen is when they cross, if they don't win this time period, that they're going to go to a planet of their own frequency, and they're not going to have people who are loving and kind and innocent that they can pull the wool over their eyes, like as they say, the proverbial.
The gig is up.
Yeah, the gig is up. Wolves in lambs' clothing.
That's
You know
right,
what I mean?
right.
So they're going to go to places where everybody's a wolf, and they know it. So see, you know what I mean? So anyway, so people, we want you to wake up, and in the meantime, I want to give you some tips to do this, because I know it's hard when all you're bombarded with is the fear. The first thing is, you know what?
Shut off that TV.
Yeah, watch us. But turn off the news. Stop letting the fear propaganda get to you, because you know what it is? It's psychological warfare.
Listen,
it's
I have never
warfare.
in my life seen newscasters blatantly call the leader of the country horrible names and not be held accountable for it. Actors threatening to kill his family. Why aren't they thrown in jail? That is threatening the president.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
If it would have been our predecessor, I guarantee you they would have been in jail.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, so you can't do that. You can't do that. When I grew up, you had, no matter what president it was, his picture was in the classroom. The teacher and everybody did the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, all right? And it was a much better time. And those children are not of the timeout children, okay? You see the timeout children in the street right now doing all that chaos, all right? Spare the rod, all right? Spare the rod. It's even in the Bible.
Well, you know what? You got a good point there. I'll tell you, because I know we were raised like that.
That's
you did
right.
something wrong, you were punished.
You were punished, and you haven't
Yeah.
paid a price for it. Not, oh, little Johnny, go in the corner and stay there until I tell you to come out. Gee, that's punishment. He's got an iPad, he's got a TV set, he's got earphones on. What punishment is that?
Right. Well, you got to take away the toys.
Even if you take that away, they always have something. Always have
Well,
something.
we got to get the world straightened up. But the main thing I want you to remember is be calm. Remember that this is fear propaganda, and it is really quite overblown. I want to tell you what I did with a friend a couple of months ago, because this blew me away. We Googled death of people in the United States in 2019, before all this stuff started. And they had it broken down by how people would die, whether it was heart attacks or this or that. And 12.9% of the people died from the flu. And when I did the numbers on that's 704 people a day or something like that. Well, long story short, when we did the numbers, it was like 2 or 3%, 0.2 or 3%
Yes,
compared to
it's
like
less than 1%
12.9.
across the entire world.
And yet they shut down the economy, the world.
Because this was done deliberately.
I know it was.
It was done deliberately. Well, look at the benefactors of that place where it got out. Hunan. Who owns that lab? Guess who? 2 billionaires from here.
Yeah.
When our little short guy was telling everybody, you have to wear masks, you have to do this, there's no cure, all this different stuff, right? He was complicit. He took the science from here that he wasn't allowed to use anymore and sent it over there to do it.
Yeah, oh, exactly. Yeah.
And all it is a clotting agent attached to a virus that we already have a cure for.
And I think it's been said it's a bacteria.
It's a bacterial clotting agent. What it does is it gets into the lungs, it gets into the bloodstream, and it blocks blood from your major organs.
Yeah.
The Italians, who had a lot of death over there from this, right? They were being told by the World Health Order not to autopsy the bodies because that would spread it. Guess what? They autopsied the bodies, they found it's a clotting agent.
Right.
Okay? They started giving them baby aspirin to keep the blood thin and hydrochloroquine. They're recovering like crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Okay? All of a sudden, the one plant that we have in the United States that makes hydrochloroquine burns down.
It what?
Burned down mysteriously.
Oh, yeah, see, I mean, this gig is up. Come on, wake up, people.
You know?
Wake up. And in the meantime, I don't want to forget before we run out of time, so I'm going to say it now. We got to basically maintain from fear. Okay, let me give you a few ideas. Nature. Get out in nature. Exercise. Deep breathe. Maybe learn yoga and how to meditate. Maybe study. First of all, if you learn to meditate and you go into the silence and get to know your creator, because your creator is not only above, but inside.
If you connect with God, God lives in your heart.
Yeah.
He lives in your heart with the angels, okay? Accept your angels, all right? Surrender your free will to them. Accept your angels, okay? And go forth and be the child of God that you were born to be.
We are all organic children of
right.
God.
That's right. We all are. And there's no reason why you shouldn't realize who you are.
Right.
You're a child of God. You are sovereign on this earth. And they
Divine
want to
and
steal
sovereign.
it from you.
Right.
They want to steal your sovereignty.
That's right.
Okay, this country was born on civil liberties. That you are a sovereign person in this country with inalienable rights that you cannot have taken away from you. But yet, what did they do? They took them away from you to close down the cities, and there was no reason for it. You could have tens of thousands of people in the street causing chaos. You can go to a ball game.
That's right.
Okay, you can go to a wedding.
Right. And if and another thing, you want to say you are divine and sovereign and you are free.
That's right.
Every day you state this, and you will be free. You got to break free and recognize that you are a divine child of God. That what this whole process is about is for you to learn to look with true eyes at what's happening out there in the world and see behind the lines. Read between the lines, open your eyes, awaken, and get to know your creator and start on your spiritual path, and let's evolve past the base human.
That's
okay?
right.
That's what this is.
What this world needs, and particularly this country, needs a spiritual revival, and it needs it now. It's already started since everybody has been home and been together. They even stopped you from going to church. There's a separation of state and church.
Right.
All right? They didn't have a right to tell the churches to close down, or a synagogue, or a mosque, or anything. They don't have the right to tell them to do that. Because that's your civil liberties. That's the separations of powers. All right? Everybody came to this country for religious freedom.
And freedom of speech,
That's
freedom
right.
from taxation.
No state or city agency has the right to close down a place of worship. All right? And yet they did it. They did it. And they should be held accountable for that. And all the stupid things they did, you know, by putting sick people in with the most vulnerable, the elderly, in nursing homes. That was brilliant. But he doesn't have blood on his hands. Oh, no, he don't.
That was intentional.
That was intentional.
Of course.
That was intentional. They want to lessen the world population, okay? That gives them more control. They keep you in fear. They keep you in control. They never want to let a good system of chaos slip through their little greedy fingers, because it makes you second guess everything you do. Don't let it happen. Don't give in to them. You put the news on, shame on you. Put the news on, tape it, watch the weather, and shut the rest and throw it in the garbage, because it's all nonsense. It's all nonsense. They show you in 58 minutes of horror, and then they show you two puppies walking together, licking each other, and say hello to each other. And that's supposed to make you feel good?
You know, there used to be something like 1,500 different radio station and television stations, and what wound up happening was, I think it's 6.
They got bought up by the corporations.
They all got bought up by 6 corporations. This is how they are in collusion to present the view they want you to have, to control the
That's right.
people, and to keep you in fear.
That's
and
right.
so, and then, I mean, and this is not acceptable.
No, it's not. I'm reading a book right now, and it's about the history of hypnosis, okay? And in there was a doctor PhD, who was talking about hypnosis, and TV was in its infancy. It was in the 50s, okay? That's when you had a TV that was the size of a living room, and you had a screen that was 13 inches. And it was all fuzzy and making sound and screeching. You had to hold the antenna out the window to get some reception. Well, anyway, this guy said something that's very true. They had a hypnotist on the show that they were on, and he said that in the wrong hands, this tool, hypnotism, okay, hypnosis, could be used to subvert the minds of the masses through this venue of television. Now, it was in its infancy at that time. What is it today? You got TV on your watch.
And
they browbeat
what?
you. They brainwash you with this stuff. They're trying to make a generation of Manchurian candidates. And for those of you who don't know what that is, watch the movie. Okay? Watch the movie.
That's repetitive, over and over again. You're being brainwashed, folks.
You think you really want to go out and buy that, that meal, that special meal that has a special offer? You think you really want to do that? They're telling you subliminally, this is delicious. You got to have this. Or you need this car, but you got to have that. Okay? Or you should have this bicycle because you have to have that. And who do they aim that at? Our kids. Our kids, the most vulnerable. Because that's the next generation of brainwashed people. Okay?
And that's one of the reasons that
Well, they're using their star energy. Their star energy. They're coming as star children, but they're using their star energy because they're tapping into that.
Well, this is one of the reasons they want to get rid of the older folks, because that's the moral majority that
That's
grew
right.
up right and who understand and can see between the lines and don't always buy the party line and
No.
don't always buy what they're
The
saying on
generation
TV.
of common sense.
Yeah, generation of-
I don't
because
care
they-
how much college you have. I don't care. Okay? It doesn't give you a PhD in life.
Or
if you
common
if you
sense.
can't tell the difference between good and bad, I don't care how much college you have. All right? You'll never, ever, ever see a point of view of anybody else but your own and your own kind. And that's what's going on right now. Right now. Anybody who stands for all of this nonsense going on, not good. Not good. All right? Your civil liberties, your rights under the Constitution of the United States are under attack. Don't let it happen. Don't let it happen. Don't let them let you write some little mail-in thing that they're going to make disappear. You go in person and you do your voting. Don't you let that happen. All right? That's your right to vote. Get out there and do that. And say it in volumes. We're mad as hell and we're not going to take it anymore. It might be a movie line, but it fits.
Well, we have to just come to realize that what this whole thing is about on a spiritual basis is to prevent the ascension, the ascending collective from ascending, which that means rising up to a higher human from the base human, from this occurring by keeping you in such fear that you can't, that you have trouble.
It's a divide and conquer tactic, is what it is.
Yeah, well, that too.
It's a divide and conquer. If you
And-
can separate the races, you can separate what people think they are, or who they think they are, right? If you can separate them and cause animosity and fear, and then that becomes hatred. All right? That becomes hatred. And hatred is the enemy of the light. And if you hate somebody, then you're not of the light. Okay? You got to come to the light and come from a position of love. I don't love anything that they do out in that street. But the people who do it are human beings, and I have to love them, and I will love them. Because I know that sooner or later, God's going to step in, and this is going to change. And this is going to change. You mark my words, this is going to change.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, oh, yeah, because,
Everything that we've said over the last 3 years on our show,
oh, yeah.
okay, has come to fruition. Every single thing we said has come to fruition.
Well, with the, from the, I know it's going to change because, for instance, See, God is sending this through, the energies through to awaken mankind, to rise
On their own.
mankind in vibration to become a higher human being. And as it's rising, you really can't help but rise. And this is all what's been intended. And just yesterday, I posted it even on Facebook, that the Schulman resonance, which is a scientific tool, it was, I think, 71 megahertz. When this first started, the average was like, I think it was 25.6 or something like that. And look at the supreme raise in the frequency. Now, I remember hearing and being told that as the energies got so intense, that the good would become better and the bad would become worse because they wouldn't be able to handle these frequencies. And that's sure what it seems like is happening.
That's what's happening. They're going crazy.
Yeah, a lot of people.
They can't handle the energy because they're not ascending. They're not part of the ascension process. They're going into maybe 7, 8, 9D energies coming in, and they are 3D, and they're not going to be anything more than that.
Yeah.
They're automatons, for a lack of a better word.
Right.
They go through the motions. They're easy to be led by the nose. Give them a couple of dollars, throw them some trinkets, and they're ready to back anybody.
Well, you know, I understand that not everybody is on the path of the ascension, although most people are, whether they know it or not, on a soul level. And so these other percentages are the ones who are not on the path, and therefore, you know, I guess they'll participate in, I've heard it be called like the fall. Mm-hmm. You know, and I guess that means that when they cross, they will not be in the same vibratory level.
No, they're not going to be as that. Listen, biblically speaking, they're going to be thrown into the lake of fire.
Well, we're in the lake of fire right now. That's what the energy is, right?
Well, the right now is a purification.
Right, it's a purification.
It's a purification, okay? But in your Bible, it's always saying the lake of fire, and this, that, the other, into the abyss. All right, these are the terms that you hear.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's where they're slated to go.
Well, that's why they're fighting so hard and trying to make all everything fall with especially around the world, so that that doesn't happen to them. That's why they're trying to ruin it for everybody else, so that the populace does not rise.
And they're interfering in the governments of other countries all over the world, using the same tactic that they're using here. Okay?
It's a worldwide thing.
It's a worldwide thing. You better believe
collusion.
It. And collusion. That's right. That's right. If you think that you are of a certain denomination and you think that the world has to be who you are, these people went out, you're not going to have any of that. There isn't going to be any religion. There isn't going to be anything. God is out of everything. Okay?
No, we don't allow that.
So we don't allow that, but you better wake up, because if that's what you think, it's not what it is. It's not what it is. All right?
Now, I know, let me just quell some fears here, first of all. If you can go to the future, where, you know, I have seen the future, and I know many other people who are have intuitive gifts have, and I know that, of course, the light wins. God, people win.
The war is over. We already won.
Right, it's already won.
This is remaining matrices. Listen, you heard the movie, you saw the movie, The Matrix, this, that, the other. That is very true. Where do you think the word came from? All right? They're running matrices on everyone, all right, to keep you in bondage. If you think you're not in bondage, okay, if you're not on the ascension path, you are in bondage.
So it's so important for you to declare your divine sovereignty and to say you are free and you are God's sovereign. That's and right. Free. That's and right. you rise, you get off your knees and you rise, and you don't just believe all this baloney that you're being fed, because I'm not saying it's not real, but it was done intentional. Yeah. And don't believe any other thing, because you're being fooled.
That's true.
And, I mean, so just be at peace knowing that the future is already assured, but it needs our cooperation, and it needs us to command our own space as divine sovereign beings that are organic children of God. You got to remember who you are, right?
That's the problem. That's the problem.
You got to remember who you are. We've been recycling through this reincarnation thing for too long.
You know what it is? You think that your mother and father is what created you. Your mother and father, just like you will one day be a mother and a father, okay? You're just a tool, a biological tool. It's God that creates life. It's God that puts life in the womb, all right? Your mother and father are in heaven. That's the true mother and father, the creators of this world, the creators of your life, and your family's life, and your friends, and everybody else. God is the Father. Your parents are just that, your parents. You love them, they raised you, and hopefully raised you with a good moral compass, which I don't see anymore today.
Well, let's say that everybody develops a moral compass. But you're right, Tommy. You're right about that. And now remember, I want to point something out to you. For God so loved the world, he created the world and mankind. Now, he wants to raise us up to be better, higher human beings. Let's help him. I mean, he could just totally turn around and pull the plug. He has that kind of power. But no, he
could wipe the slate clean at any time.
Yeah, he could. He, she, Father, Mother, God could do that. They're one, And you got to remember this, that... because the bad guys, although they're, they know God's good, so they're counting on that goodness that she is not going to do that. But you know what? Someday, you got to remember, God is good, and that's the only reason he hasn't pulled that plug. But we got to stand up and remember who we are as children of God, and help one another as much as we can. And truly, I really think we need to be kind to each other. That's key, because you know what? People, you don't know what that person's going through.
That's right.
And so we have to be kind to one another. And, we also have to, brighter minds than mine, I'm sure, can figure out the economics. I mean, as far as how to fix the economy after all of this takes place.
The economy is already on the rise. The economy is already coming back. All right? In limited business, the economy is coming back. Why? Because the only states that are really having difficulties are states that are one-partied. All right? They're the ones that have all this chaos going on. The other ones are fully open. Okay? COVID is no more dangerous than the flu. More people die of the flu than die of that. The numbers have been bolstered. You go to a hospital, you have a hangnail, but you happen to die that day in the hospital. COVID, why? Because they get extra money for that.
Oh, I got it.
Follow the money.
Yeah, follow the money.
Follow the money. How come illustrious leader here, okay, got something like $13, $14 billion for all of this, got all these hospitals built, makeshift, everybody sent everything in that they needed, okay? And where did the money go? And when it was threatened that they were going to send federal auditors in here, what happened? All of a sudden, there's no more COVID cases. Very little. Very little. Gee, what did they find a cure? The cure was you don't want sniffing around the money.
Right.
That was the cure.
Follow the money.
Follow
Get the auditors
money.
out there.
Follow the puppet masters behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Who they are. They're your major corporations. Okay?
Oh my God, there was a show, Continuum, that talked about all of this. It was people came back from the future and so forth. But, we're talking about some serious subjects here. But
well, listen, this all came out in these last 7 months. Okay? These false things with, you couldn't get toilet paper. You couldn't get this. You couldn't get that. Now you can't get paper towels. You know what? That's bull. Because the same people that created this and had stockpiles of this stuff are holding back on sending it out.
I know.
To create more and more chaos.
Right.
That's what it's about.
I know.
Okay, that's what it's about. please.
Right. So, try to stay calm because we're in this and...
we are in this together. We are the brotherhood of mankind.
And of God.
Okay? We are the brotherhood of mankind. It doesn't matter what color your skin tone is. It doesn't matter what God, where you pray or where you pray or what nationality you are. It doesn't matter. If we don't come together as a people, one people like we did after 9/11, we don't come back to that. Okay? And those that won't come back into the light, okay, are doomed. You are doomed. All right? You are doomed because you're embracing the darkness, and the darkness already lost.
That's right. Please take these words to heart because they're true. And once again, I do want to point out that it's not too late for those who want to change course.
Absolutely.
You just ask for forgiveness and you will be forgiven because our Father, Mother God is so loving. And another thing, because we're starting to run out of time here, so I want to just give you a tip or two on how to stay balanced. One of the things you can do is simply call on whoever you pray to, whether it's Jesus, Mother, Father,
Muhammad, anybody.
Yeah, Mother Mary. A lot of people pray to Mother Mary, Buddha, wherever. Call on them and say, please balance me in all ways, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually. And whenever you feel the need, ask for that. And then it helps to get out in nature, especially.
That's true. Get out there in nature, take off your shoes and socks and stand on the ground and take Mother Gaia's energy through your body. Put your arms up to the heavens and receive God's energy. Go down the beach and do that. When the water comes in, you breathe in God's energy. Prana, chi, whatever you want to call it. Okay? And when the water goes back out, release everything that you've been holding in you. Everything, your hatred, your animosity, get rid of it. Because it's nothing but toxic. It's toxic. Get rid of it.
Gather with your groups and do joint prayer that there is peace. Now remember, you want to stand in your sovereignty and say, we are peace. We are centered. We are stress free. We are
I am
strong.
God's child.
I am God's child.
I am the son and the daughter of God.
Yes.
I am perfect in His eyes. Anytime you use the words I am, you're calling on the name of God.
Right.
It's been proven medically that when you say the words I am, something triggers in your brain. Okay? And it could be measured. That's your direct line to the capital up in heaven. Okay? Use it.
You say, I am well, I am
That's
healthy,
right. Never
I
say,
am strong.
I am sick. And never claim sickness and disease.
Yes.
Because you claim it, guess what? You own it.
Yes. And you say, I am immune.
That's
My
right.
vibration is risen to where I am in perfect health above all this nonsense.
That's right.
And I am loved. Because really, we've only been told that these are the true commandments, the two that really matter. One is love your brother, love your neighbors as yourself, and each other, and to be good stewards. The other is to continue in your evolution, to be a better human, to be a higher human than the base
like
human.
I said, say it every day. I am good today. I will be better tomorrow, and I will be better each and every day, because I am a son or a daughter of God. I am perfect in every way. I am that I am. And go forward. Go forward in who you are. And remember who you are. Okay? You'll develop discernment, the gift of discernment. I call it a BS barometer. When you see this stuff on TV, when you hear this stuff on the news, when you listen to the radio and you're being browbeated with this stuff, all right? Guess what? Your little barometer there will tell you, nonsense, change the channel. Change the channel. Just keep on changing.
Yeah, you say, I see with clarity.
That's
I
it.
see with clarity.
That's what I can see for miles. Kenny, how much time we got? We got 1 minute. Let's wrap this up.
Okay.
All right.
Good to see you folks. I know it's been an unusual show
that was
for
nice.
us. It was nice, but it's been very unusual show where Tommy and I really just started talking about what's been happening here.
Okay. Just want to thank our sponsors, Antonio Porter in Tottenville and Aardvark Pest Control in Great Hills. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. See you next month.